Whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we lost all that. I'm pretty annoyed that I want to try some stuff. I'm gonna hit a couple of these buttons and see if I can hear it. That sounds like shit. What's the deal? Diddling my daddle under the table.
Man, you're still soaking that paintbrush?
Yeah, something sounds like crap. What were we saying?
You still soaking that paintbrush?
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'm still soaking the paintbrush. I still haven't fixed the roof. I still haven't built gates for my house. Still haven't done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I meant too.
It feels weird just jumping back into our conversation right in the middle of it. I'm not going to start that whole conversation over again.
It's impossible. Never be the same.
No.
It's lost forever.
Gone. It's all shit. I'm sure everybody's heard anyways.
No, I'm sure.
Everybody's talking about
We're
it.
not that interesting.
No, I don't think so. Everyone's doing it. So you like that pastor?
Yeah.
It's not weird?
It's always going to be a little weird.
Yeah, Jamie said she went and some of the stuff that he was saying, I was like, that's a little odd.
Yeah. But it's just like with people, you're never going to find like someone that's perfect, you know? And
Well,
I feel like that's how that is too. So all you can do is find one that's good enough. And I don't think everyone needs, you know, honestly, the only reason I want to go is for
your kids?
yeah, I think it's good for them. I think it's good for my wife. I think she wants to. So I don't really want to, but I'm sure I could benefit from it too. I probably need some, you know.
Yeah. I feel like the Bible is so widely interpreted by different people. Like, you should probably just say, I think this, instead of espousing it as like fact. Because a lot of times when people do that, they like, it says in the Bible not to add, remove, take anything away from it. Like, you're supposed to teach the word. And I guess people, you know, if you want discernment, you're supposed to pray for it. The feelings of right and wrong and what you think's true or false. But a lot of times when you have pastors that they get real into their own perspectives on the Bible, they're like, they kind of add stuff to it. They're like, he said this because this.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how'd you get there? You're kind of just like telling me your opinion, but you're telling me it as if it were fact.
But I think that's kind of what the point is, you know, is you're going
Well,
that church to listen to that pastor's perspective that's been studying the Bible probably his whole life, you know.
Yeah, but it's also a little, sometimes it seems very, I don't want to say disingenuous, but it's like misleading. The perspective is kind of misleading.
It could be. Or it could be the perspective you've been missing, you know.
Maybe, yeah, if you feel
It
like
just
you're...
depends. I just don't like the political, like when we were going to Impact, the whole political nature of that church is what really bothered me. Like, I thought the pastor's sermons were good. Like, they were good, but he just kind of, I don't know. He seemed like he was using that power he had, which is a big power when you're a pastor of a church with, like, thousands of people in it, you know?
Yeah.
That's a lot of influence.
Yeah, and then when you got 1,000 people out there being, amen, brother, and then you're like, oh, they like me. You're like, get a little too wrapped up in how much people like you. But I mean, yes, you're right. That is kind of how it works with the churches. You know, you vote that person in because you like hearing them preach.
Yeah.
So you agree with their views. But
or
also,
go to find another church if you don't.
yeah, and there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah. But yeah, he was very. It wasn't anything crazy. There's a lot of neat little tricks and stuff. Keep you paying attention with our millennial brains. Big screen with all the graphics and lights and shit, you know, which is a little gay, but whatever.
It's gay.
A little gay. I'm so used to, like, I went to a Methodist church. You go in, I bet I still remember exactly. He says a little something like, "Oh, good morning, guys," you know, whatever, and then we'd sing like 3 songs, and then they do the offering, and then they do the communion, and then they do the sermon, and then they sing another song, and then you go home.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the same. And this one, they don't even like take communion. They don't do any of that stuff, you know.
Ever?
Mm-mm.
Did you do communion every day at your old church?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. I guess I was raised Baptist, so we only did it like certain times of the year. It was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was like around Easter or special occasions, I think, like certain times of the year. Yeah, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I know for sure Easter.
But yeah, they did communion every Sunday. And anyone could go take it. So I remember it was like off-putting the first time I went to a Catholic service. They went to do communion, and the mom, like, I was with my friends, and we're probably like 8. The mom's like, I got up. She's like, no, can't do that. I was like, what? She's like, you can't take communion here. I was like, oh, okay. So I just sat there while they all went. I was like, that's weird.
Should have looked at him
And I
like,
found
judge
out.
not, lest you be judged.
And the weird, like, there's
And then slap
Catholic is even more so with the traditional stuff,
yeah.
you know, that, like, you feel so uncomfortable because they, like, all kneel down on the little things, you know, they have the little, like, things that flip out from behind the pew in front of you, and you, like, they all start kneeling down, and you're, like, looking around, like, what the fuck, am I supposed to be kneeling down, you know? And I feel like they do that on, like, I don't know, that is dumb, too, you know?
It's kind of, yeah, their practice is weird. I think that as a body, it's probably what the Bible says in the end times. It's like the horror of the church or whatever, like the body itself is. I don't think the people that go and practice Catholicism are attempting to be like evil, and I think they go there because they want to feel good about themselves, and they want to. I don't mean that in like a selfish way. I mean, you want to feel good about yourselves in the way you raise your family, and you want to practice a religion, and you probably were raised in it, and that's how you want to go about it. But the practice itself is weird because you have Jesus on the cross at the back of the church, and you're like, hey, you're preaching about, the Bible. He got off that. He's not on there anymore. And praying to, his mom, who was a human, not anything special, or any other person who was taken by God. You're not praying to God. So you're basically making an idol out of somebody who was a saint.
Yeah.
So you're almost kind of making them look bad. They're probably in heaven, like nudging Jesus and God, like, dude, I didn't tell her to do that. Like, she's just doing it. And he's like, I know. They're stupid.
Well, I think they do that with a lot, They have, like, the Pope who's, like, in charge of, and, like, to me that just seems weird, which they're all like that. Baptist and Methodist churches are like that, too. It's just not as
How do you
big,
mean?
They have, like, this whole, like, kind of, like, boss. I can't remember the names, but like bishops and all that kind of shit, they still have the same thing.
With the deacons and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's weird to me. It's like, why is that necessary? That makes it's like a business.
Hierarchy, yeah.
Yes.
It becomes a business.
Yeah. And I get that it has to be to some extent, it has to be a little bit.
Yeah, to keep the lights on,
Yeah.
maybe.
and
to
hopefully
feed
to be
people on
helping
Sunday.
people. Yeah.
That's how you should do it. You know, when I see my wife and I used to go to this church in San Antonio, and I really liked it, and I liked the pastor, and I heard about this. There was a sermon that we missed, and I was like, I don't really care to go back there after. And I watched it online too. You could watch them online, and he was like getting down people's throats about tithing,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, y'all make millions of dollars a year. If you're not making enough, it was about renovations and some other stuff, and I was like, they were completely remodeling this church. I'm like, you have more than enough money. You didn't even really need to do that renovation. You could have used that money, and this is all during COVID. I'm like, you definitely could have helped out people in your community and given back. And especially like when Jamie's dad had a stroke, and he's out of work, and he's having a hard time putting his sentences together till the swelling goes down. Swelling was all in the front of his brain, where I believe that's where language is formed. So, anyways, and he tithes and volunteers for the church all the time, and they didn't reach out to him or try to help him at all. It was just like, fuck you, pay me. Excuse me. That's basically what it was.
Yeah, I don't think they're all like that, but I do. That's one of the things we didn't like about Impact. And this guy, he was like, I can't remember his exact wording, but it's basically like, open your hearts up to God, to put in what you feel like you need to, But the one at Impact, he blatantly was like,
if you're not tithing 10%, you're going to hell.
It's like, basically like, he'll answer your prayers, but he'll answer your prayers better the more you tithe.
That's manipulation.
It's like, no.
Where does it say that? Let's go over that.
I don't think it does. It does tell you to tithe.
Mm.
But it's like, you go to that church, they have like a fucking Starbucks, and you know what I mean? It's like, it's so nice. It's so nice, it's huge. And it's good, because they can do all these things. They have that big vacation Bible school thing that's probably really awesome for the kids. They like it. Ari liked it when she went. But it's like, I don't know. Money corrupts. And people corrupt. That's what my dad, I talked to him about it, and he's like, people are imperfect, so it's never going to be perfect at a church. He's like, it's not run by God. If it was, it would be perfect, but it's not. It's run by people, so it's imperfect. And that's just like how it is, So you just find the one that its imperfections bother you the least, and go to that one.
Yeah, that's one of the things that messes me up the most is when you see, it's like Joel Osteen churches, like that old story where he didn't let people in because, they just had the carpets cleaned.
Yeah. Like
during a massive flood or whatever. I can't remember the story, but you're supposed to be helping people.
Yep. But then you think, it's like, how many people saw where, freaking hammered, life falling apart, and Joel Osteen popped up on TV because he had such a big reach, You know what I mean?
You think he saved a lot of people?
I think he has. Maybe.
I think he has followers more than he brings people to God. He's like, buy my book.
Well, even if it came out like someone saw him on TV and was like, man, maybe I should go to church tomorrow, and they went to church. They had nothing to do with him, but just him having that broad reach, brought him in a little bit.
I think he was
at the right time.
He seems to me like kind of like that other pastor you're talking about, the manipulator. It's like he was just handsome enough to get everybody's attention, but when you listen to him preach, he was like kind of smart, handsome, just enough to where he can manipulate people into getting what he needs out of them. And then if you're writing books to make money off of it, it's like, where did it all go? I bet you if we broke down his...
Oh, he's probably a millionaire.
What? No. I bet you if we broke down what everything was spent on, how much of it do you think went to actually helping people? And I don't mean giving people jobs. I mean, actually helping people. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe. How much does it really help to just give someone money,
Yeah, you don't have to just give them money.
Yeah.
You could get together and either pay other people who maybe are short on money to go help clean up a neighborhood or whatever. You know, something. You could find some way to just help people.
No.
Or like, there's a church down the road here, and I always see them feeding people. Like, I think it's every week. You'll see like they have racks of food, and they have people that like line up and come and collect food. I don't know the whole story. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I always look at it and I think like, well, that's nice. Like they're feeding people.
No.
You know, I don't know if those people are paying for that food or what the story is at all, but it seems like a good thing.
Yeah.
Anytime you put food in people's mouth. But it is a lot of bread. I see all the bread and I'm like, man cannot live on just bread alone. And our bread's poison, so maybe.
Carbs are bad!
Carbs are bad. The body's a temple, damn it. You're destroying your body. Thanks for this coffee. Y'all missed it in the first episode. Sam gave me some coffee. It looks like tea.
Very weak coffee.
Yeah, it's coffee light.
It's still good.
Mm-hmm. A little cold now.
Yeah.
I couldn't close my mouth and just
Because
drink
you have
it.
a clear cup, all the heat's coming out.
Yeah, you think that's what it is?
I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I feel like
It doesn't look like a very insulated cup compared to this one, though. You know?
I don't know, it's glass. You think
Mine's
that
probably like porcelain, dude.
yeah. Do you think that the porcelain would hold heat better than glass?
Maybe. Glass
I
gets
bet
hot on the outside, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which one do you think cools down faster? Like if you were to heat them up to a super high temperature and then let them cool down, which one do you think would cool down faster?
The glass.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So your cup probably is better insulated.
I had some lady that was trying to make me feel bad because I was using a regular coffee cup. She's like, "You don't have a Yeti?" Like, I don't like Yetis. I like just a plain coffee cup.
Was this a customer?
Yeah.
That's
So I
rude.
got out of the truck and was drinking coffee.
You should have been like, no, you don't pay me enough.
Like, I have like 10 Yetis. Okay, I just don't have them with me right now. I have so many Yetis though. You don't even know.
I got striped ones and checkered plated ones.
I have too many. My wife is too into fucking cups.
My wife's got a bunch of those Stanleys and whatever the new one is. She just got into. Look how sweaty my hands are from drinking this coffee.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Does it get you? You need more?
Every time I have coffee, I start sweating profusely in my hands and my feet. Yeah.
I think I sweat more when I drink coffee, but
I feel like
I
it's
haven't been able to prove it because I don't stop drinking coffee. So
yeah. I feel like it's my body telling me like you don't really need that. You know.
I feel like it's my body just getting warmed up for the day.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It's like, let's get you really hot. Your pulse high. Break that sweat early.
What y'all been up to on the weekends? Just hanging out? You working on your house still?
A little bit.
You get your roof done?
Yeah. Yeah, I got our flooring. It's in the house. I need to fix my roof. I've not fixed my roof yet. I really don't want to.
Wow, dude. You're giving me a hard time about not doing my stuff. And here you are not finished with yours.
I did. I worked almost all day yesterday. I took, where my fireplace was, where the brick was on the ground,
Yeah.
like in the floor. I took all that up. And then put like floor joists in there so I can put wood over that. That is a pain in the ass. But not as hard as I thought. But got concrete dust all in my house. Probably not good for me either. I've done like quite a bit of it now. I probably need to start wearing a mask when I do that.
You're not gonna make it.
So I was going to Home Depot to get wood. I looked in the mirror, my whole nose was fucking white, like on the inside. Like all of my nose hairs, I was like, shit.
This is the asbestos. It's not cocaine. What is that stuff?
I think the problem in it is like
I know it doesn't
silica.
have asbestos in it anymore.
I think it's silica.
I don't think it does. Silica?
Silica.
Silica.
Yeah. And it's like abrasive. We use it in pest control, there's something we use that's like it's silica that's crushed up, and it does the same thing as diatomaceous earth, where it like cuts their exoskeleton and then they dehydrate.
Wow.
But that's what's in concrete too. But like a lot of dudes have been getting sick. You're like required now with hammer drills. They're all required to, like OSHA, you know, requires you to put this like dust extractor thing on it when you're using it.
Huh.
Because they've like proven it's like bad for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, if you're doing that all the time. I wonder how bad the paint... I've been trying to make sure, because I didn't always, but I've been trying to make sure that I've been really careful about wearing my mask, my dust mask when I'm prepping stuff, even when I'm, you know, prepping for polishing something.
Everything's bad.
Yeah.
You know, people would always talk to me and be like, oh my God, aren't you worried about what's going to happen? It's like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
You know,
What
and
do
then
you
they're like, I was a painter. And you're like, you don't
That's
think
not
that's
good.
bad? Or I clean houses. You don't think that's bad?
Even if I wear all the protective gear, I still get it on my face and my skin
It's
sometimes
impossible.
whenever...
It's just the hazard of the job. They all have them, you know.
Yeah,
just like
really
even some
want to get away
dude that
from it.
was like a manager, sat in the office all day. Was like, you just sat down on your ass all day long. You don't think that's bad?
Yeah.
You know, why's your back hurt so bad? You know, it's like we all have problems
It's
from
not
it.
from the alcohol.
You're fat. You know, it's like you're fat because you haven't moved in 10 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know that mine's any worse than that guy's. You know, at least I get my fucking 8,000, 9,000 steps a day, so.
Well, I don't know. In my position, if you're in the office, you're still kind of moving around a lot. You're checking on parts,
Yeah.
checking on guys, making sure everything's moving good. And
It's not as much work, though, as if you're out there working, sanding and stuff.
yeah,
Not good for you. It probably can get slightly difficult.
yeah, I would like to move into the office or into a office.
Yeah.
See how it goes. See how it goes by the end of the year. We've been slow enough where it's kind of like, if it doesn't pick up in the next month, probably be in trouble. You know, so we're just kind of like skating by right now.
Why do you think that is? You think it's just...
I think it's because
people-
it's election year.
Yeah,
Like I'd mentioned,
people not spending this much.
yeah. Well, like I'd mentioned earlier before the video cut out, was like, right around September it got slow, and then my brother-in-law was saying, you know, he thinks that it's because it's election year. Also, they're slow and just kind of taking what they can get.
What did they
It's
do?
all plumbing. I just think like any kind of production stuff's going to be slow right now.
Well, I think it's expensive things that people hold off on. That's one of the good things about what we do is ours is like not even on people's radar. You know, if it's an expensive one, it's like $300 every 3 months. So it's like not that big a deal, you know? So.
And then you have people like this, the ports shutting down. They're going on strike because they want to get paid more. I'm assuming because I was talking to a guy who's kind of like a manager, one of those, or well, his wife. He wasn't there, but it was kind of like going over his job, and he was saying apparently like when a lot of those ships come in, there's just a big robot that picks up the Connex, puts it on a conveyor belt, and then there's another robot that picks it up off the conveyor belt and puts it on a truck, and then, you know, like, well, what do these guys really do? I don't want to be rude, but I feel like it's not a good time to be trying to ask for a lot more money. I can understand that you don't feel appreciated, but if you don't feel appreciated, you might try to look into something else. But then you got someone who's been doing that job most of their life. And it's like, well, now I got to find something else at the age of 45 when I've been doing this for 20 years. I get it, but maybe y'all are asking for too much at the wrong time. You know, it probably would have been better to do that.
You know, for a laborer, a common laborer like I am like, for whatever reason, totally against the whole, what is that called?
Don't say that.
When they have like the like organization
Unions?
that, yeah. I'm like, the union thing seems like so stupid to me.
Well,
I don't know why, because I get the premise of it, you know? It's like, that's a good idea, but
well,
to me it's
apparently,
just whining.
Yeah, apparently when you get like real big companies that have to hire out in unions and stuff, those people don't work because you can't fire them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll all just band up against you. So they're kind of like their own boss, and they just not. I'm sure not all of them. I'm sure there's just and there's bad people in all
Yeah.
groups, but
Yeah, I remember there was like that. There was like an auto worker strike a while ago, and there were like guys putting together trucks,
there's
on an
plenty of
assembly
vehicles
line.
out there though.
Yeah, I know, but
We don't
they
need
were-
more.
They were like, we want our hourly pay to be raised like $6 an hour or something, and they were making like $40 an hour, and you're like, that's pretty good, dude. It's like, I know your cost of living might be different, like up north, in the Northeast, but
Yeah, people never live within their means.
no,
You know,
that's
if
not
you
what the
make
problem is.
$100,000 a year, you're gonna make sure that you, especially if you're married to a woman,
No.
you're gonna spend $100,000 a year.
I really hope I don't do that. I'm pretty comfortable right where
We've been
we're
pretty-
at.
Yeah, we've been pretty good about saving money and putting money back, but it's like, which is crazy because the inflation is definitely real, and the what was it? It was Trump versus Biden in that debate, the only debate that they had, and they softballed that question to Biden. Was like, what do you say the consumers that are suffering from inflation that used to spend $100 at the grocery store and they're now spending $120? And I was like, that's adorable. From 100 to 120, you think that's as bad as it got? That's
Like, we
crazy.
spend probably like $1,500 a month.
Dude, it's another mortgage for groceries,
Yeah.
especially if you have a family of 4.
Yeah.
And if you're middle class, it's the same with healthcare as it now is with groceries. If you're a middle class person, you make just enough money to where you can't get assistance, but you don't make so much money that you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's like a barrier line where they discourage you from moving forward. I've seen it so many times at like body shops where you have I know a guy personally who didn't want to make over a certain amount of hours because then he wouldn't get his benefits. Crazy.
That's dumb.
You're like,
That's
you don't
the
want to
system.
you don't want to reach out and do more work because you're scared that you're not going to get free stuff when you can do more, so you're holding yourself back is literally what you're doing.
You'll never get better. And you could blame him because it does sound dumb. Me or you wouldn't do that. But at the same time, it's like, why is there a system that benefits people to do that?
Yeah.
That's so dumb. It should be all like, the more you work, I understand the taxes, how they need to be and stuff. Like, I get that, but
To some extent. I don't think you should be taxed when you make money. I think you should only be taxed when you get paid. That's it. You shouldn't be taxed when you take that money that you've already been taxed on and go and buy something, especially if it's something you need. If anybody gets taxed, it should only be the person selling it that's going to make money off of it.
well, they are. That's how it seems when you're doing it,
Yeah,
because you collect that money and then you have to send sales tax.
Wait, but you pay taxes on both sides.
Yeah.
And then the owner of the business also pays taxes on the person that's working for him.
And pays taxes on all his property and equipment.
Yeah, it's just too many hands in the cookie jar.
It's because I get, part of it is they separate it out. Sales taxes, majority goes to the local area. Just like property taxes. When you pay your property taxes, it goes to the county. And I think sales tax is the same way. I think there is some percentage that goes federally, And then, so we don't have an income tax in our state. So all our income tax goes federal. And I'm sure the government sends some money back to Texas, but it does. It's dumb how they do it. It's like overly complicated, so you don't know how much you're paying in taxes. It's like they do that on purpose, I feel like.
But you pay taxes on everything. Buy, sell, if you are given money, like when your parents die, that's taxed. I kind of like the idea that...
Not in Texas.
Not in Texas?
I don't think so.
That's
I think
cool.
it's only over a certain amount.
I didn't know that.
you still will pay taxes on some of that stuff for sure.
Sounds like somebody's outside. You hear that?
I heard a dog bark.
Oh, okay. Thought I heard a voice.
But yeah, it's dumb how they do it. I'd much rather them just be like, okay, you made under $100,000 this year, you're gonna pay 20% in taxes off your income, and that's it.
I don't think that you should pay more than what God asks for. He only asks for 10%. I don't think we should be giving our government more than we give God.
Dude, they have to spend so much money, but they're so bad at it. Which is the other problem.
Yeah, do it, but that's the only job
they probably have so many freaking... Like, how many employees do you think work in that county office?
Yeah, well, that's why they don't want Elon Musk or Trump to win. That's another reason why they don't want Trump to win, because they don't want Elon Musk cleaning up the government and making it more efficient. Because you got all those people that are going to have to actually work or lose their jobs.
Well, it should be competitive, and it's not. It's like people get the government job, and they're like, okay, now I'm good.
Yeah.
They can't fire me. I have to, like, not show up to work for, like, a month for them to be able to fire me. I get full benefits, pension plan, 401k, and I'm going to make, like, $45,000 a year at the low end of being, like, a secretary. They probably still make that much, you know?
It's literally the only job on the planet where you do a horrible job, and then you can blame the consumer and be like, you didn't pay me enough. Yeah. I need more money.
You didn't bring in this form.
Well, why did you send billions of dollars to this other country? Why didn't you just fix this? Yeah. Well, you didn't give me enough money. That's why. It doesn't make any sense.
But they fuck everything up.
That should be treason, honestly. It is quite obvious how there's kind of like a military-industrial complex versus people who want to take care of our country. You know, when you have people like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, who said that his wife told him that if he ever supported Trump, that she would get a divorce. And now she kind of came around also, and she's like, I guess they could just kind of tell what's going on when you have was Kamala Harris is being backed by Dick Cheney and some of these warmongers from the Republican side, and they only did it right after these Democrats started supporting Trump, just to make it kind of look like, well, yeah, I know he has Democrats supporting him as a Republican, which he was a lifelong Democrat himself, which is pretty funny. But we also have Republicans. But what Republicans do you have? Just ones that want to, you know, keep oiling the machine of war and making that money. You go, you start a war somewhere, and you destroy it, and then you pay yourselves to fix it. Literally.
Yeah.
It's super messed up.
Yeah, it's all messed up. And I don't see how you could fix that.
Yeah,
There's so many things that are like that, you know, and the government, like the healthcare stuff too. It's like, how do you even fix that mess, you know? How do you even fix that stuff?
They have to have a better foreman, shop foreman. They need a better organizer, someone who's going to come in there and not put up with bullshit and make sure that it's more productive and it's actually producing. You know, when you have stuff like the homeless situation where they just ask for more money every year and they don't make it any better, it's just getting worse. But apparently they can clean it up really quick when you got, you know, Chinese presidents and leaders coming in. If that doesn't tell you that China owns them, I don't know what does. I think you can purchase parties. And I think the Democratic Party's purchased. Why did they not have any delegates? Did we have delegates? Was there any? Let me see. Who were the Republican delegates for this year? And I'm sure at some point a long time ago that didn't happen, but there should be delegates every election for both sides. You should be able to choose between people and say, and the majority vote should go to the delegate. It doesn't matter about anything other than the majority vote for the delegate.
Well, the whole thing.
That person should be chosen. And the Democratic Party stuffed out Bernie Sanders. They're already telling you who they want. They're like, I know you wanted this guy, but you don't know what you want. I'm going to tell you what you want. You want this chick over here, whose husband was banging other people in the White House. She's creepy. I don't like her.
I don't like
that whole side's kind of creepy.
I don't like her. I think the biggest one to me is this soft woke thing. I think it's going to be the end of us if it doesn't stop.
I think that's coming full circle already. I think people are tired of it enough to where, and then I also
It's
think
not good.
that
It was good. It was good at first. I think it worked. And I think our kids are nicer and more compassionate and more accepting than we were. And that's good. You know, I truly believe that's good. But, you know, when kids get called a name and they come home and say they're getting bullied, that's not good. It's like life fucking sucks sometimes, dude. You know?
yeah.
It's like everyone thinks stuff should just be like given to you at this point. Like you deserve it.
Everybody wants something for nothing.
But it's like life's hard. You have to work at it. All of it. I think that's why people don't get married and stay together anymore. It's because I think people have this expectation of marriage is you find your soulmate and then it just works out. And it's like, that's not how marriage is. Marriage is like a job. It's like work. It's hard. You know? You have to work at it. It's not just given to you.
Yeah, there was a bunch of Republican Democrats, because remember Vivek Ramaswamy, all those guys. I don't remember any. Was there estimated pledges, delegates won? What about the Democratic Party? Because I don't remember if they even ran anybody against Biden. They were like, no, we're going to keep Biden. And then somebody who even the Democrats don't even want in office anymore. And he's gotten worse, but he wasn't much better when he started in office. So...
Oh, it's definitely run by the Democratic Party.
He chose his running mate. So nobody chose her. And then you're going to vote for her. You're literally voting out your right to vote. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Why would you? And you can't have someone like Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr. running because they don't support war. But they're great Democrats. I don't mind them at all. I would vote for them. Either one of them. It's always, if you look back at the people who were assassinated and trying to be assassinated right now, it's always people who want to help the people since RFK. And then even Lincoln, whenever he was the one that was fighting for the freedom of the slaves, right? He was fighting to free the slaves, who was a Republican. That was the Republican Party fighting against the Democratic Party. And now if you vote Republican, you're a racist somehow?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's changed.
Well, if you went... market's different now. But if you had a bar that hated black people and a bar that liked black people 10 years ago, and you were like, I'm not going to that bar that hates black people, I'm going to go to this bar. And then now all of a sudden you read online, you're racist if you go to it's literally the same thing. It's like... You're voting for the party who wanted to keep people enslaved as property. That's insanity. That doesn't make any sense to me. It seems maybe it's just a lack of education or understanding. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Well, I think we have a lot of people that don't have time to look at it, and I think there's a lot of people that don't make their own decisions, and I see that more here with the blatantly loving everything that Trump does. It's like these dudes aren't spending their time looking at politics and stuff, but I bet if most people went on Trump's Twitter and looked at his tweets, they'd be like, come on. Like, you could not be 100% supporter after that, after just seeing he's totally unhinged too, I agree with his politics a lot more, but they're all unhinged. I can't imagine like who could put a sign in their yard, for either one. Out of the last like 10 elections, how could you put a sign in your yard,
Yeah, this is weird. This says, so I looked up the Democratic delegates, and this just says Democratic delegate rules. And delegates are individuals chosen to represent their state at their party's national nominating convention. They are typically party activists, local political leaders, or early supporters of. I clicked on it accidentally. So we know what the delegates are. They're people chosen by the state, the people of the state, to go represent them. And then it says Kamala Harris was selected by Democratic delegates as the Democratic presidential nominee. So apparently she was chosen by the delegates to run.
Which is not something that we choose, right?
Yeah.
We don't choose the delegates.
Well, apparently you do.
How?
They're representatives of the state. So, like, hold on. Let me go back to that. I'll finish reading.
Isn't there, like, different delegates for each district? Just like with...
Local political leaders or early supporters of a particular presidential candidate. They are either selected in primaries, caucuses, is that right?
Yeah.
Or local party conventions, or include... Sorry, I clicked on it again. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, man.
But even that is like a dumb way to do that, you know?
That's not, yeah, the delegates shouldn't choose the presidential runner. It should be delegates presented, by the states, and then the people vote for the delegate they want to run as president, and then whoever the majority winner is for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, that person runs. Whoever the majority of people want to run should run. And it shouldn't be like that Bernie Sanders and, what was her name? Hillary Clinton situation, where they just put in the person they wanted to run. Like, they're already choosing for you. And
well,
now
you
it's...
should have, and that's how it was when, you remember the first time Trump ran, how many people were running for the Republican primary? There was like 15 of them that would go to the, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like a debate with like 15 dudes.
And they were not nice to each other either.
No. But it's like, what? The one that bothers me too is you go to vote for the primaries and you have to pick Republican or Democrat. Why the hell can't you pick from both? Why wouldn't you be able to be like, if I had to pick a Democrat, I'd pick this one. If I had to pick a Republican, I'll pick this one. And then you get a say in both. Not like, okay, I guess I'm voting Republican because...
okay, so for the delegates, you can only choose one side to pick the delegate that you want?
Well, when you go vote, like, in the primaries, and it's like that for all the other stuff, too.
Yeah.
You can vote on the local stuff, like the bonds and everything.
Well, when you vote on local stuff, I thought you could vote Democrat or Republican on each section.
I'm not sure. But, like, for the senator and House of Representatives, all that stuff, like, you pick. You have to pick. And then they give you... That's before the primaries, I think. And then the primary is the one where they give you the choice of both. I guess
you can't do that because if you were going to be... If you're a Republican, you're a diehard Republican, or if you're a blue no matter who person...
And then you pick the shitty option?
Yeah, so that you have a better chance to beat them.
I can see that. It's dumb.
Yeah.
But the whole way they do it, it's all... Like how they pick districts specifically, knowing who's in there, draw a perfect line. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the districts, it's like so crazy how they draw them. Doesn't make sense. It's not just like a block of people. It's like this crazy, like, get this one in there so we can make this one Republican. Whoever's in power gets to pick that and they redistrict. It's just dumb. They all find loopholes for everything.
Yeah.
And that's how all our government stuff is. When you're rich, you can do whatever you want. People move roads. Like, how the fuck do you get someone to move a road? I've been places. Rich people can get them to move roads. Would they move a road for you? No.
Or a bridge.
You know what I mean?
People
it's like
that bridge they were tearing down for that guy who was building that giant yacht.
And they probably paid like, I'm sure they paid more in taxes, but they probably get a better deal because they're rich enough to figure it out, you know?
I wonder if they pay anything in taxes.
Some things don't.
It was like that thing with Hillary and Trump, where she was like, he didn't pay taxes for blah, 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 or whatever it was. And she goes, yeah, I use the same benefits that your donors use. It's like, if you have a problem with it, you can, have everybody straighten up. Not just me.
No.
I'm paraphrasing horribly, but pretty crazy.
Yep, it's a mess. I'm glad we live where we live, though. It's not really that big a problem here.
Well, I'm glad we live where we live, because if shit really does go sideways, this is a state I'd like to be in.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it would be probably one of the safest, even though we're right next to Mexico, where all the illegal immigrants are coming in from.
They're pretty cool, though.
The illegal
Most of them.
immigrants. Did you hear that it was Brett Weinstein, or it wasn't Eric, yeah, it was Brett Weinstein on the JRE, and he was talking about that base down in South America somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was. But he said it was essentially like a Chinese military base. And he was asking a bunch of people that were making this trek up to the U.S. that are all like military age males from different countries. And
Yeah, that's the part that is a little concerning that they don't really talk about. But I listened to a podcast where someone's interviewing a Border Patrol agent, and that's what he was saying. He's like, it's not Mexicans. He's like, it's not Mexicans coming over anymore. It's like, that's such a small percentage of the people coming over is Mexicans, which is a little like, it's a bit concerning. When it's just Mexicans, it's cool, dude. They're good.
Yeah, I'm
I
fine
like
with
Mexicans.
that. I'm happy for Mexicans.
And I like Chinese people too. They're good too. But it's like, why the hell are y'all coming over here like this, dude? That makes me a little nervous. Because it doesn't seem like...
The military bases being surrounded by Chinese-owned farms is insane. Why can you even, as another country, buy stuff or land in the U.S., let alone stuff right next to military?
Well, because it's so... I think in China, the private business and government is so intertwined, you know? It's like, how could you... Like, I don't think they should let them. But
the U.S. shouldn't let any foreign country buy land near military.
It's not the foreign country, probably. It's probably some guy that's buying land, but it's still kind of owned by China. You know?
Because they are intertwined with their government, like you just said. So it's them.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think they should definitely not do that. That's one of the things that makes us almost self-sufficient, is because we have so much fucking land. You know, we have so much land. The people that we don't even realize, like, our country is so big compared to like all the other ones, and we have like such good land too. We have so much farmland, we have so much oil, all that stuff. We have so many resources.
That's one thing I don't agree with Trump. I'm like, yes, drill, baby, drill, but for us, I don't want to export oil.
I think that's where we all went wrong, is when we started exporting stuff that makes us money and started importing stuff that's cheaper. You know, I think that's when everything like got fucked up.
Well, I think it's more...
That's when we lost our middle class.
I think it was more greed. You know, it's all about making money. And
you have to turn a profit every year. Every year you have to make more money. All these big companies, they gotta make more money every year. It's like, why?
Then if you have a new guy coming in, it's like the new guy's like, I want to make my money, so we got to keep running this machine. Let's milk it for all it's worth so that I can make mine. And then it's...
So now CEOs get paid like $20 million a year in salary, and then they get like stock options that are like hundreds of millions of dollars, you know?
Yeah.
And then the guy delivering the packages for Amazon is making like $15 an hour, and it's like...
I would never want to put a cap, because then they're going to start, you know, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, government-wise. I would never want to put a cap on the amount of money that somebody can make. But at the same time, I wouldn't want those people, like, there's no monopolies. There's not supposed to be monopolies for a reason. You know, and some of these businesses basically have monopolies because they own the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies and the doctor's office, and then they give incentives, and then they buy these Democratic parties.
Yeah. No, I don't. You can't even fix that though, because like you say, you can't.
Well, just
you
like
can't
there's
put
a
a cap on what someone can make. You can't do that. But the other problem, you like, which I didn't think about. They're like, oh, we're gonna raise the
minimum wage.
Minimum wage to $15 an hour, and you're like, that's gonna make everything more expensive.
Yeah,
it's
like,
literally
causes inflation.
Why does it have to? Because that's not the problem.
Well, what
the
also
problem
you're gonna do is you're gonna
the fucking CEO of McDonald's is probably making like hundreds of millions of dollars, and those next 10 people underneath him, are making crazy money too. You could pay those dudes. You could take that like 20 millions of dollars, and split that up between a million people. That's a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
It's still a big raise, So that's what the issue is. Then they're making so much money for their investors and everything. It's like the problem is not that you can't afford to pay them. You don't want to because you're not willing to take some profit away. It's like, why can't a business run on bare minimum profit? Why does it need to make that much money? Why have we gotten to this point,
Yeah.
Like, you're not making 50% of the work you're doing, It's like so much less than that. On just straight profit. You're paying everyone. Everyone's getting paid. Your dad probably gets a salary too. And then he takes the profit home, But he doesn't have to make that much money. You don't have to fuck everyone around you just to make more money. It's like, that's stupid. It's like, why? Of course we're in this spot, Because they didn't used to do that. Like I've heard stories about Sam Walton, the guy that started Walmart, and he was so into his employees. He was so he wanted them to do good, which I would too, wouldn't you? Wouldn't that be the coolest part about owning a business? You have 10 people and they can all afford to have a house and a nice car. Wouldn't that make you feel great?
Provide the opportunity for people to improve.
It's like they're trying to get as much out of a person for as little money as possible, and that's what all those big businesses, that's what they do. And it doesn't even work. It doesn't work. It makes them worse. It's like, would you rather go to HEB than Walmart? Yeah. Their stuff's better. You can go through a line and check out, and it's some 16-year-old kid that's like, at Walmart, they're like, what is this? It's like a retarded guy, and it's like he needs a job too, but it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, Walmart, you're more likely checking yourself out.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I went to Walmart and I was super annoyed because this lady came over to, I didn't ask her to, I waved her down to come, what's up?
Sorry, I didn't know where Meme is and Mommy just left.
Well, look for her.
Okay.
And maybe text your mom or something. Where'd your mom go?
I don't know.
Okay. She ran away forever.
I thought that.
No, she probably went to go get some coffee. We have no coffee in the house. What were we saying? Dadgummit. I was about to make a point.
We were definitely on the subject of trying to fuck people. Oh, you were at Walmart, you waved the lady down.
Oh, yeah. So I checked out all my stuff, and I did the beer last, and then she came over to okay the beer, but she didn't just okay the beer, she took out her phone and scanned the barcode to take the benefits of me spending my money at Walmart, and I was like, I'm not coming back here.
What do you mean?
Especially to self-checkout. There's it's scan the barcode like Whataburger points, but at Walmart points. She scanned the thing to get my points and I don't have an account with them or anything. But I was like, what the hell? I was like, how'd you just do that right in front of me, not thinking I wouldn't see you do it? You don't know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know that, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that is fucked up. I can't believe she's not getting caught doing that.
And I was like, obviously, if you're willing to do it right in front of my face, you probably need it more than I do. But I was like, ugh. Come on. You should have asked. If you'd have asked, I'd have been happy. So, yes, go ahead and take my points. That's fine.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But I'm sorry, I don't know why that got brought up in whatever we were talking about, but that's another reason I don't like Walmart. You go to check yourself out, and then you got
And then there's some
a
grumpy old
situation
man
like
that's
that.
like staring at your cart. He's like, "Let me see that receipt."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plus HEB stuff. Most of the HEB stuff's made in Texas, right?
No, it's
all
just
their produce.
they treat people better, and to me, that's the other part of the problem. It's like, do you really need to raise minimum wage? Because a minimum wage job is a job for someone that's like 16, not a full-grown man trying to support a family. You are not a cashier at Walmart trying to support your family. You need a different job.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it sucks that maybe he didn't get the same opportunities, you know, but there's probably a job out there for him. He doesn't want to work hard. He wants to go sit in Walmart and get paid $15 an hour. It's like, no, go be an electrician apprentice. Yeah, go do something.
Yeah.
This is a job for a child, not a grown man. And like Chick-fil-A is like that, you know. Go to Chick-fil-A and the service compared to McDonald's. And that's what the difference is. All the people at Chick-fil-A are young. That $12 an hour is a lot of money when you're 16, you know. But when you're 30 and working at McDonald's, it's not. It's not a lot of money. You're pissed.
Yeah.
You treat people like shit. You get your burger and the fucking patty isn't even in between the buns all the way. It's like sticking out. And you're like, how is that hard? That's the easiest part of making a burger.
Dude,
you stack them right on top like blocks.
I'm usually pretty chill about, my food getting messed up. I'm always nice to the people that, handle my food or any kind of service to me. I try to be extra nice and understanding. Also, probably not making a whole lot of money, so I try to be nice. But the one time I did blow up, it was at Taco Bell in Hondo, Texas. I used to work out there. Anyways, I got my food and I was like, I just looked in the bag to see that everything was there, and the shit wasn't even rolled up properly and packaged properly, so it was all leaking out in the bag. So I pulled around in my car and I got out and I walk up to the counter and I just tossed it on the counter, and I was like, I don't know who Picasso is, but y'all can keep that shit. Maybe if you put a little bit more pride in your work, you could get out of here and find yourself a real job. And then I just walked out, and the guy didn't say anything, he just looked at me. Oh, but I was like, that's ridiculous. Y'all basically just said for me to go screw myself. Yeah. It's not like I ordered a 5-star meal or anything, but you could have at least wrapped it up better. That's ridiculous. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I guess I don't hang around people like that, so I can't even comprehend, but there must be a huge majority of, Americans that are that way. That are I don't know any Taco Casa, any Taco Bell, any McDonald's workers, but how do you get stuck like that, man? Are those the same? I wonder if those are the same people that comment on videos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a mindset, and I don't always do this. I don't improve in a lot of things because I'm just lazy. I'm inherently lazy, and I force myself to do things. So it's discipline. I have some discipline, but I think that life is all about improvement, improvement in all things, improvement in your relationship with your wife, and your kids, and your job, and your friends, or whatever. Cleaning your house, making your house better, taking care of things. But some people just aren't some people just gave up, and they're like that person who doesn't want to do extra because they won't get their benefits from the government. I don't know how you give people incentive to do better, because I'm obviously you've had some pretty bad adversity in your life, but you haven't gotten or grown the right perspective to
I think it comes back
make
to
that a positive thing.
Either you don't think you can do it, or you don't think you deserve it, maybe, or you just don't even know. I think there probably is some people that they just don't even know. I think you can just keep your house clean. You can just save money up for a couple years, and then you can buy a fucking house, and then you're set.
Yeah.
You know, once you buy a house, you're probably gonna be fine.
And
like
it's
all
almost
this stuff
impossible
can
to-
happen, you know, but
Yeah.
you're probably gonna be fine.
It's almost impossible for people to buy houses nowadays unless you already have a really good career.
It's
But
not
it's
impossible.
insane because it's
It's
cheaper to
hard.
buy a house than it is to rent a house here in town. But I think they should teach perspective in schools. It would just be hard for you to have someone teaching that who's not also pushing their narratives on you. But I mean, hopefully you would be able to figure that out in that class once you start learning things. But you know, I think perspective is kind of like I said, like a currency of knowledge. You know, the better you can understand other people's views, the better you might be able to understand things broadly. You know, your way's not always the right way.
I
And
would
the only
love
way.
to talk to someone that is in that situation, you know, that has grown up poor. They live in a filthy house that is trash. They don't do the things they're supposed to do,
Yeah.
you know, because, like, I know it's possible because I make it as hard as possible for myself
Yeah.
to do those things by drinking, you know,
Yeah.
doing all the bad things. I still do those, but I still get everything done I need to.
Well,
You know, I still spend time with my kids. I still take care of my wife.
yeah.
I still go to work every day. It's like, and that's one of the reasons I would like to quit drinking, you know. It's like, think how good I could be
Yeah.
without that, like, being drunk from, you know, 6 to 9 o'clock at night before I go to bed. And it's like, I just don't understand. It's totally possible. Anyone can do it. You don't have to be smart to do that. You know? It's just show up. You could just show up and
Yeah,
be
I have to
a
have or
complete
teach
idiot.
yourself discipline. Like one time, maybe, you know, I don't always have the opportunity to try this more and more often, but I have once before. When I had that Camaro, that blue Camaro, I don't know if you ever saw that car.
Mm-mm.
This car right here on the screen.
Oh yeah.
So I pulled up to a gas station in between Bandera and Kerrville, and this kid came out and was like, "Oh, dude, I love your car." He worked at the gas station, and he was like, "What do you do for a living?" And I was like, "I paint cars." And he goes, "Oh man, that's so cool." I was like, "You want to learn how to do it? Because I want someone to prep stuff for me, so I don't have to." And then I actually have done that before. I got someone who was the porter at a body shop to be a prepper, and then he became a painter, and then he was painting at Cass Auto Body, which is now, I forget what it is now, but it doesn't matter. He was there for, I don't know how many years. He's a painter now. But I tried to get this other kid to do it, and he didn't have any transportation at all. He had a car that needed like lights and a couple of minor things fixed on it. And his uncle was like, "Then you can drive this to work every day."
Yeah.
And but he also showed up for the job, like kind of an interview, in flip flops, tube socks, and gym shorts, like I'm wearing now, and a nasty ratty t-shirt. And I was like, you could have at least worn your clothes that you wore to your actual job when I first met you to come out here. So gave him goals, basically like, get your car fixed, and then come show up on Monday, and we'll see if you can at least, you know, handle instructions. And he couldn't, I don't even know if he ever even got his car done. But I'm like, I figured somebody with the desire to have something might give him the drive to set goals for himself and then start moving forward. And then once you start getting things that you like after you achieve your goals,
Then it's there.
it's kind of all downhill from
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Which I think that's what our job is, to teach kids. You know, that's why I want Ari to be in cheer. I think, to me, cheer's dumb, but I've seen it has already worked on her.
Yeah.
She showed up the first few times, you know, for the first year, really.
It teaches
And it's
discipline,
like,
for sure.
how come I'm not as good as this other girl? And I'm like, because that girl practices. You don't do anything. You do nothing. You go to cheer, you come home. You don't do it. And now, I will go in her room and she's doing like stretching and, you know, doing some kind of workout thing, doing squats or static holds or something, you know, and it's like, she finally got it because she got better. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's what everything is. Everything is, you have to try. You have to try. You will not get better by just sometimes people are just naturally gifted, you know, there's no way around that, and you'll never be as good as them. And that sucks. But
That's why I try to discipline instead of spanking Bailey. I don't like. I hate spanking the kids. I always feel so guilty for it. But that's how I was raised. You know, I used to do that. Now I'm like wall sits or or you're just grounded from your phone, something like that, which is way worse than spankings. You know, I'll ask them, what would you rather? Would you rather have spankings, or would you rather have your phone taken away for a week? And she's like, I'd rather have spankings. I'm like, all right, we're gonna take your phone away. But I'll do something like wall sits, which I haven't even done. You know, I haven't gotten on to her in a long time because she behaves really well. But you know, I discipline my children because I want them to do better than me.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the whole goal of having kids.
yeah.
It's like, why have kids if you're gonna get them worse than you? It's like, you might as well just not even have them, dude.
That's why I told her, you know, and she was like, because I asked her, I said, you know why I'm getting on to you? And she said, because I did something wrong, or because I was being bad or whatever. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I want you to know, like, I want you to have discernment. I'm paraphrasing now, and for an oversimplified conversation that I had with my child, but it's like, I want you to learn that when you see something that needs to be taken care of, you take care of it, and then you have your own discipline. You choose to do things because you know it's what's supposed to be done, and then you're going to improve on your own. And I want you to do better than I did as a person. And I want, like, even if you don't do better than I do financially or whatever it is when you grow up, I'll still love you, but I want to give you the best opportunity and to try to teach you where I fell short, and hopefully you can overcome those things and move forward. You know, I think that's what everybody should want for their children. Sometimes I don't see that. Sometimes you see parents that are jealous of their children, and it's weird. It's really weird. I'm like, hey, what are you doing, buddy?
Parents that hold stuff over their child, which my parents never really did, but I've seen, like, Cody's parents had a little bit of that. Like I did this for you, and this is how you're going to be, you know? And it's like, your child didn't ask to be born.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, also, is that what you
They
did it
didn't
for?
pick that. Exactly.
You did it because now they owe you?
Yeah. It's like, no, you just do things for your kids.
Yeah.
You don't, not for any particular reason, you know?
It is 9:52, homie. You have to get out of here and get to church.
I probably should.
You better wash out that potty mouth before you get to church, though.
Do I have a potty mouth?
Yeah, you dropped like 3 or 4 F-bombs this episode.
Sorry.
You're naughty.
I try and not. I've gotten way better at not doing it.
Thanks for
in front
coming
of my
out.
children's.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always fun.